Welcome to the What the Guru podcast for July 1st, 2024. Welcome to the What the Guru podcast for July 1st, 2024. We're talking about the latest advisory for Major Hurricane Beryl. It's now still a strong high-end Category 4 storm as of the newest advisory at 5 p.m. here. And you can see that the eye is very well defined, donut shape, symmetrical all the way around, with high cold cloud tops with the stadium effect surrounding it. It made landfall on Curacao Island, which is part of the St. Vincent and Grenadines Islands. Grenada also took the brunt of it as well. And earlier in the day, it passed by Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago, providing them with showers and gusty winds and tropical storm force with some hurricane force gusts. So St. Vincent and the Grenadines took the brunt of it. There's damage reports coming out of St. Vincent here. I want to show you. I'm going to give you the latest 5 p.m. advisory. Then I'm going to show you some of the damage reports. So as of 5 p.m. right now, this is the track. The track has shifted further south and west here, according to the latest 5 p.m. advisory for the system here. And I want to show you here that the hurricane force winds only extend out about 40 miles from the center. Current pressure has dropped down to 944 millibars. It was 948 millibars a few hours ago at 2 p.m. advisory. And the winds are still sustained at 150 miles an hour. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for the pressure and the winds to match. Generally, the lower the pressure, the stronger the winds, etc. But it takes time for the storm to catch up, as I already went through an eye wall replacement cycle earlier in the day that I predicted yesterday, and it has already done that. And now it's at its almost at its maximum peak, and so it will be at its peak wind speed today and a little bit of tomorrow, Tuesday through Tuesday afternoon. Then when it gets to Wednesday, that's when it'll be experiencing some weakening due to the wind shear in the Caribbean, and also due to the winds increasing across the Caribbean Sea, coming at a more hostile environment for the system. Now, our next item of concern is Jamaica and Hispaniola. Haiti and Dominican Republic. Jamaica could end up either taking a close to direct hit or a past the storm, the core of the storm, or pass to the south. That means the south-facing beaches of Kingston, Montego Bay, other areas in the south-facing beaches could be looking at a lot of storm surge and flooding up in the order of anywhere from 6 to 8 feet possible. Possibly higher than that. It just depends on the angle it approaches Jamaica and how close it gets to Jamaica. If it's something like 40 miles offshore from Jamaica, they'll definitely be in the hurricane force winds then. If it's something like 100 miles south of Jamaica, they will get tropical storm conditions throughout all of the day with hurricane force gusts. But still, either way, tropical storm conditions are likely beginning in Jamaica, picking up sometime Wednesday at lunchtime or sometime before that, because the tropical storm force winds extend out over 125 miles from the center right now. And the hurricane force winds, now you notice that the hurricane force winds only expanded 10 miles after the 10 miles out from after the latest eye wall replacement cycle. Before, hurricane force winds extended out 30 miles as of early this morning and yesterday. Now it's up to 40 miles of hurricane force winds on either side of the eye, ladies and gentlemen. So now our main concern, once again, is for Jamaica. Jamaica has a hurricane watch in effect. Tropical storm warnings, they've been downgraded from a hurricane warning for the big four islands that took the brunt of it, which was Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadine Islands, St. Lucia, and Martinique. And so that's what we're looking at now. Now back to the satellite loop here. I want to show you the structure of the storm. It came over this island right here. This is Curacao Island, part of the St. Vincent and Grenadines, the southern islands of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And also this is Grenada. Grenada reported sustained winds of around 92 miles an hour, gusts to 125 out of St. George, Grenada. I know they have a big medical school there. I'm not sure. I talked to a few students down there. I don't think they sustained any damage, but they did have trees down. They did have power outages down. As far as Jamaica, yes, Jamaica will be getting tropical storm force conditions starting early Wednesday morning and lasting throughout the day. Hurricane conditions are possible in Jamaica. And so Jamaica should take all precautions as needed. Now, we don't know how close it's going to be because the storm is wobbly. This storm wobbles west and then northwest. It doesn't move in a straight linear line, the center of the storm, as you can see here on this picture. But Jamaica definitely make preparations for at least the tropical storm conditions. Winds anywhere ranging from 40 to 65 miles an hour with gusts to 85 miles an hour on Wednesday. That'll be the worst day of it. And then I'm going to show you the models here as well. But I want to show you to go back to the graphic of the track here, and I'm going to show you right here. You can see that the wind field of tropical storm wind field has expanded. So this is 125 miles from the center of tropical storm force winds. Conditions are already improving now for Grenada, St. Lucia, Martinique, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago are out of it. The ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. Right now, you're not forecasted to get tropical storm winds as it passes by you to the north of you, a couple hundred miles. And also, conditions should be improving in those islands starting tonight. The winds, tropical storm force winds, will be pulling away, and you could, in fact, have sunshine probably by sometime tomorrow, Tuesday, and afternoon. You definitely have sunshine and improving conditions. Okay. Now, this is the thing that I want to tell you about this track. This track is dependent upon the subtropical ridge. There's high pressure that's above Bermuda and Bahamas, and also there's a high pressure above the U.S. states of Georgia and Alabama. This is currently steering this system north-northwest, or west-northwest, so to speak. Now, the big question is on Wednesday, Jamaica, this is going to be upgraded to a hurricane warning, probably by the Hurricane Center, sometime Tuesday afternoon. On that 2 p.m. advisory, they're going to upgrade it to a hurricane warning, and they may upgrade Haiti and Dominican Republic to a hurricane watch. And this is going to be because we're going to get heavy swells, 15 to 20 foot seas as the system passes to the south of these islands, even if it's not a direct hit. And also we could potentially see storm surge flooding, definitely in Jamaica on the south and east side. So if you're in the eastern parishes of Jamaica, and if you're southeast of Kingston, Jamaica, you want to listen up. Those of you in the eastern parishes, St. Mary Catherine's parish, stuff like that, you want to definitely prepare. Now, if you're more on the western side of Jamaica, still prepare. All of Jamaica is going to be in tropical storm force winds, but I'm talking about the hurricane force winds conditions are going to impact the eastern end of the island first. Okay. Now, I know you guys have the Blue Mountains in Jamaica that may work to slow the storm down somewhat, but the storm of this magnitude, it's not going to be slowed down that much. Now, the good news for Jamaica is by the time it gets to you guys, it could only be at a category 1 strength hurricane, a high end category 1 or a low end category 2, meaning winds between 75 and 96 or 100 miles an hour. It should be 105 miles an hour. We won't know that until after Tuesday night. We will have a better handle on that because we have to see how the system interacts with the wind shear. Yes, there is wind shear, but sometimes these systems are able to fight off wind shear and still be vertically stacked and symmetrical. So that's what we're waiting on. Tuesday night is Jamaica's critical time. Tuesday night and the Wednesday morning is Jamaica's critical time. So you want to watch out for that. Now, another thing too is that it's also possible that the system can go through another eye wall replacement cycle, and that's not out of the question here. I'm going to show you the models here. But first I'm going to get into the damage. No deaths have been reported, thank God, in St. Vincent, and the Grenadines are also in Grenada. Now I want to show you, this is the St. Vincent Times here out of St. Vincent in the Grenadines, and early reports suggest that the Southern Caribbean island sustained significant structural damage, and you can see the damages. Most of the roofs are blown down. Folks, you have to remember they sustained winds 100 miles an hour, sustained gusts of 135. Some of the islands in the Grenadines, and also when the eye wall went directly over some of the northern islands, this is what the damage it did. So it made landfall around 10 a.m. and some people had roofs blown off, trees blown down, and flooded streets. This has been reported. This is some of the pictures here: Bishop College in Kingstown, St. Vincent there. And you can see numerous homes have lost their roofs in the neighborhoods. And you have to remember, some of these storms in the eye wall and outside the eye wall are tornadic, meaning they spin up little tornadoes, little water spouts in some of these storms. And when that comes on land, obviously it becomes a tornado and it rips off the roof of these homes. And this is what the damage that we're seeing. Many vortices, they call it sub-vortices, that these hurricanes have in these feeder bands here, on these outskirts of these feeder bands, heading just outside of the eye wall. And they spin up these mini sub-vortices, and they cause these damage to take off roof just like that, really quick. It spins up 120 miles an hour, then it dies down. Spins up 130 miles an hour, then it dies down back to regular speeds. This is what the damage is suggesting here in St. Vincent. A lot of trees down, they reported here. The Calder Government School, which doubles as an emergency shelter, and the main building of Emmanuel High School lost portions of their roof. Paget Farm Government School in Bequia suffered structural damage. So far, according to the newspaper here, St. Vincent Times here, there were a lot of roofs off, a lot of structural damage, and trees down, and power outages, obviously. Power outages in the area. That affected reports out of Tobago, No reports out of Barbados of damage or power outages, but they did have a little minor surge flooding and some gusty winds. Same thing with Trinidad, nothing there, nothing in Tobago. But Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they took the brunt of it. And St. Lucia took tropical storm force winds earlier in the day, but they didn't have much, just a few trees down, a few, a little minor storm surge flooding at some of the beaches south of the Pitons and south of the capital there in St. Lucia. So it's good news all around in terms of no deaths reported from this system so far. Now, moving on to, like I said, the track and the path. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here you can see that the track has shifted further south. Before, the track was north of Jamaica, or going right through Jamaica and heading towards Cayman Islands and up through this way. The big question comes, there's two big questions. How close it gets to Jamaica? How close does the hurricane winds get to Jamaica? Right now, Jamaica, you have an 85% chance of seeing tropical storm force winds. Almost 100% chance that you will get winds between 39 and 70 miles an hour with gusts to hurricane force. That's starting before 2 p.m. on Wednesday, okay? But the hurricane force winds, that brunt of the 150 mile an hour winds, 120 mile an hour winds, the 150 mile an hour winds, we still don't know how close that eye is going to get to you right now until after Tuesday afternoon. Now, heading further out, Cayman Islands, the big island, you will get brushed by this, but it'll be further enough south where you'll be on the north side of this, so you will experience tropical storm force winds, but you're not going to get into the hurricane force winds at all with the system, at least as projected by this map. The big question, too, is also on Friday. Will the system continue westward into the Bay of Campeche, or will it drive north and high pressure breaks down into the Gulf of Mexico? My guess is, and this is my educated guess, is that I believe that this system is performing like a late September storm. Remember of Hurricane Ivan back in the day 20 years ago, and I believe it's going to turn north up into the Gulf. So all interest from Pensacola, Florida to New Orleans should look out for this system. I don't think the high pressure is going to hold up that long and for it to continue west into the Bay of Campeche here over across Mexico. I don't think that's going to be the case with this storm. I think it's going to continue northwestward past Jamaica and hit Cuba, the western part of Cuba, and turn up into the Gulf somehow. And that means that anybody from Florida Gulf Coast over to New Orleans is going to be affected. But that's too far down the line. Like I said, the models haven't got a hold on that. But I believe, that's just my personal opinion, is that I don't think it's going to go over the Yucatan Peninsula, hit Belize and Cancun, and go into the Gulf that way. I think the high pressure is going to break down. The steering currents up here is going to break down, and it's going to turn north into the Gulf here. And we're going to be looking at a Gulf of Mexico storm here. Probably weaker, obviously, because it's going to be weakened by the interaction, the land interaction, and also it's going to be weakened by the wind shear that's just heavy up here in the Caribbean Sea once it pulls away from these windward islands here. So that's what we have going on here. Let me show you the model run here. This is the GFS model. Right now we have a 966 millibar storm that's deepening right now. You can see it. Here's St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Here's Grenada. You can see it moving away. I'm going to put it in motion here and show you how it moves away here. So it moves away from the islands here, and this is on Tuesday. And then Tuesday is in the middle Caribbean. Now, Tuesday afternoon is just below Haiti and Dominican Republic. This GFS model shows it here that it misses the islands completely, but it does provide heavy rain and tropical storm force winds coming through. Now, advance it further here. You can see Jamaica right here. This is the core of it. This is on Wednesday or Thursday, just after Thursday here. You can see late Wednesday. You see how these purples here, this is deep convection here over Jamaica, or just to the east of Jamaica. This is going to come ashore, and this is going to be the worst of it. Wednesday afternoon from 12 p.m. Wednesday to 8 p.m. Wednesday night is the worst of it. According to the GFS model, this is one model run right now, and that's going to be the worst of it. So hurricane force winds extend out 40 miles from the center. It's possible those in Kingston and those in east parishes, from Kingston to all the east parishes, it's possible that you could be right in that northeast quadrant there, experiencing the worst that Beryl has to offer. Now, at this point, it's a 992 millibar storm, meaning that it's no longer a Cat 4. At this point, it probably most likely could be a low-end Cat 2. So winds could anywhere be between 96 and 110 miles an hour storm we're looking at here, or maybe even less than that. It depends on how much the wind shear breaks it up. But it's definitely not going to be a Category 4 when it gets by Jamaica. According to the GFS model, it has it as a Category 2 coming by Jamaica. Now, we continue the model run here. It goes past Jamaica, goes past Cayman Islands, and then it has it going into northern Belize and into the Yucatan Peninsula as a 1,000 millibar storm. So it continues to weaken. and it may even be like a category 1 by the time it gets over here, because this, according to the GFS model, and then it goes over into the Bay of Campeche as 1,007 millibar. At this point, it's just a remnant low or a tropical storm, a low-end tropical storm, 40-mile-an-hour storm, and then it has it going into it has it pulling up into southern Texas, northern Mexico. At least that's what the GFS model has. Another run here, the European model, has it right now. You can see it as a 976 millibar storm. And we put it in the motion here, ladies and gentlemen. And it has it going straight for right here. We pause it in time. We have it going here. It has a stronger storm on the European model below Haiti and Dominican Republic. That's on late Tuesday night. And it provides, the core of it stays offshore, but as it approaches Jamaica, it has a stronger storm. So the European model has a stronger storm, possibly still maintaining a high-end category 2, maybe 110-mile-an-hour storm coming into southern Jamaica. Southern parishes of Jamaica and eastern parishes. So it has it just offshore. Now watch as it passes to the south of Jamaica. It has the core staying offshore here, but it has the hurricane winds, the yellow there, getting just on the tip there from Kingston, Red Hills, over towards eastern parishes like St. Mary's, St. Catherine's, stuff like that. But as the day progresses here, you can see it moves from east to west. It pulls away and things lessen. You just have heavy rain in Jamaica from Blue Mountains all the way over to Negril, Montego Bay, all those areas, St. James. So it just has heavy rain. So the European model has a quick hitting system. It makes it faster when it approaches Jamaica, and then after that, it has a stronger storm also coming into either northern Belize, Belmont Pond, north of Belmont Pond, Belize, and north of and south of Cancun and the resorts on the Yucatan Peninsula before getting into the Bay of Campeche as a tropical storm, and then it fizzles out here. As you can see, I advanced the model here, and it brushes by Jamaica just briefly there. And the hurricane force winds, the good news is with the European model, the hurricane force winds stay off, just barely offshore, and that allows you to get a whole bunch of rain. Jamaica could get up to about 8 inches of rain in some of these locales with these dark green locations here, as you can see. But the core of the storm stays off the coast of Jamaica, and that's good news. You'll just be dealing with tropical storm conditions, and flooding and mudslides will be the major concerns then at that point if the European model holds up with this system. But once again, it's still a dangerous system here, still a powerful system here. It still will be at least a category 2, I believe, by the time it gets past Jamaica or near Jamaica. So between 2 a.m. Wednesday and 2 p.m. Wednesday. So actually tomorrow is your preparation day, Jamaica. You should definitely get food, water, lights, prepare for power outages. Regardless if you get tropical storm winds or hurricane force winds, you should always prepare for the power to be compromised when you have winds in excess of 50 miles an hour coming through, as they will be guaranteed, at least with this system passing by you to the south of you or right on top of you. So be prepared for that as well. Now, Haiti and Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, I want to say you're out of it. You're not in any watches or warnings. It's going to pass well to your south, so you just have some swells that you may have on the southern beaches there of Mayaguez and Ponce and stuff like that, but nothing there. Now, Dominican Republic, from La Romana, Dominican Republic, over towards Haiti, Port-au-Prince, and those areas, you're going to experience storm surge, okay? Because as the storm passes by, that northern end, there's going to be an offshore breeze at first, but when the storm passes by to your west, the winds are going to switch direction and it's going to bring that onshore flow. So it could be a little bit of a water level rise, not much, maybe 2 to 4 feet there, okay? But there is tropical storm warnings for you in blue here, so that still means that winds are going to be at 39, sustained at between 39 and 73 miles an hour, and then the blow by you. But Jamaica is the main concern, obviously, for everybody here today, because we're going to have a situation where we're going to have either a combination of flooding rains leading to landslides and mudslides and gusty winds. And if the 40-mile the core of the storm, the 40-mile core of the storm that contains those winds anywhere from 150 with higher gusts up to 175, if that comes on shore somewhere southeast of, let's say, Kingston, or even west of Kingston, then that means that the east side of the island is going to take the brunt of the storm. And the west side will get it too, but the east side of the island, from Kingston back toward the west, the east side parishes are going to take the brunt of it. And that means that, there's a time that you can have hurricane force winds. Let's say, now according to this chart, it says 2 p.m. Wednesday will be underneath Jamaica. So let's say the worst case scenario, you get into the hurricane force winds. That will begin at 2 p.m. and it won't be done with you guys until about 7 or 8 p.m. just before dusk, just before dark, and then the system conditions will gradually improve. Now, this is all dependent upon two things, ladies and gentlemen. This is dependent upon the speed. Right now, it's moving west-northwest at 21 miles an hour. It hasn't really slowed. The last day or so, this hurricane has been booking it. It slowed down. The hurricane slowed down on one advisory to 18 miles an hour, I believe, but now it's back up to 21 miles an hour. So it's strongly being influenced right now by that high pressure to the north, and that's going to continue to be the case until it's not. And this is the big question. These are the two big questions that I have with all of the information that we have, with all the models that people have been running, is this: does the high pressure hold up? And does the subtropical ridge that's been steering this thing hold up as a fast steering current? Because if it dissipates, that means this thing is going to slow down tremendously. Let's say it dissipates tomorrow night underneath Haiti and Dominican Republic. That prolongs Jamaica's chances for more significant damages, because that means that even though the winds are less, yes, but there's still going to be flooding rains and stuff like that. So right now, it's a blessing in disguise is that this storm is moving very fast, and according to this forecast period, it's going to continue to move fast through Thursday. So we just pray that it holds up, because like I said, if the high pressure, the two steering high pressures up here, if they break down in any fashion, then that means that this thing is going to slow down and prolong more rain and wind for Jamaica and possibly other islands, and possibly even eastern Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic. You guys could all be thrown in the mix. It just depends on if this high pressure holds up or not. That's above the Bahamas and Bermuda and up in the United States. So now another thing I want to tell you too, ladies and gentlemen, is that sometimes in late September, this is a pattern that we normally see in late September and late August and September and October during the peak of the hurricane season, when we get these storms way off the coast of Africa. It's very unusual to have this storm this far south latitude coming across like this. And so that's one of the reasons why I think that on Thursday is a critical day too, because Thursday we're going to see just how far this track is adjusted north or south. Now, I tend to believe that this track is going to be adjusted further north on Thursday after it passes Jamaica. They have a decision to make, because typically if it's a stronger storm, it's going to be pulled further north and have more influence with the high pressure. Now, I believe personally there's going to be a squeeze play between these two high pressures here, and I believe the squeeze play is going to allow this system to lift north right into the Gulf of Mexico, and that puts the panhandle of Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana into play. I don't think that the high pressure is going to be strong enough. The atmospheric conditions are going to be strong enough to steer this thing west into Mexico and Texas, or into Mexico into the Bay of Campeche. And it's very uncertain here. You see these dotted lines? That means the further you go out from the forecast, from the 3-day forecast, the more uncertain it gets. So this is just my opinion now. I'm not going by the official forecast. I think on Thursday this thing is going to turn up into the Gulf of Mexico and affect the Panhandle, Florida, Alabama, and Mississippi, somewhere around there, kind of similar to what Hurricane Ivan did. I don't think it's going to continue westward onto the Bay of Campeche, but like I said, it's just an educated guess. But in the meantime, we know for sure that this storm is going to be a major hurricane throughout Tuesday, Category 3 status at least, Category 4. And once it gets the wind shear affected, the wind shear will begin to affect it, like I said, sometime on Tuesday afternoon. So look for the 5 p.m. advisory tomorrow as it books past underneath, a couple hundred miles south of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, and it gets towards Dominican Republic. Look for the 5 p.m. advisory, or possibly the 2 p.m. advisory, to show that it's weakened somewhat, a little bit, not a lot. It'll probably be a 135 mile an hour storm, but it'll be coming down to a low end Category 4 and then possibly a Category 3 on Wednesday, and then it could be even lower than that as it passes by Jamaica, according to this chart. It won't be a major hurricane, according to this chart, on 2 p.m. Wednesday. It'll be a Category 2 with winds somewhere between, 105 or 110, maybe even less than that, 100 mile an hour storm as it passes by Jamaica at its worst. So Jamaica, make the preparations, because you will have, at the minimum, regardless of whether, because tropical storm force winds extend out 125 miles from the center. So Jamaica, make preparations for at least at the minimum power outages. Get some bottled water. And also, get some blue tarps, because you may have some leakages depending on if the hurricane force winds get close enough to you. There could be some roofs damaged, or trees down, power lines down. It could be, depending on how close these hurricane force winds above 75, above 120 get to you on Wednesday. We will know that. Once again, Jamaica, we will know how close that is. They'll have it pinpointed by late Tuesday afternoon. That 5 p.m. advisory and the 8 p.m. intermediate advisory on Tuesday night is critical to you guys, and then the 5 a.m. advisory on Wednesday is critical. They'll definitely have it pinpointed where this center is going to affect you guys. But either way, you're definitely getting 100% getting tropical storm force winds between 39 and 73 miles an hour. The good news for Jamaica is this is quick hitting because, like I said, the system is moving west-northwest at 21 miles an hour. So far, it hadn't slowed down, which has surprised me tremendously now that it's in the Caribbean. But apparently, it's not slowing down. So if it keeps that pace, it'll be a quick hit for you, Jamaica, and it'll all be over Thursday morning. It'll be pulling away from you in Cayman Islands, and you guys can, you can breathe a sigh of relief, hopefully, and everybody be safe and things will work out. But you still have to prepare because this is very serious, and it can be a very hairy situation when anytime you have winds gusting above 100 miles an hour, and anytime you have that amount of water, potentially 6 to 8 inches, 9 inches of rainfall in one spot, in any spot in Jamaica, it's just not good for a lot of people. So, you on our prayers, and also, the next stop after the Cayman in Jamaica is going to be on this west coast. We're going to be looking for Cancun, but northern Belize. We don't want to forget you either. Some of the islands here could be in play, like the islands off Honduras, of course, San Andreas, Rotain Islands. They could be in play Thursday if this forecast verifies. Now, if it does not verify and the system pulls north, like I think it is, and get into the Gulf this way, up here, the high pressures break down and kind of have a squeeze play between the two high pressures. We've seen that scenario before. The same scenario happened with Ivan back in 2004. There was a squeeze play between two high pressures that set up, and the system ran right through the middle, split the middle. So that's what I'm calling for, but it's too early. I don't want to make that call, but I'm giving that now. I had it at a 15% chance yesterday, but I'm calling that for a 20% chance by Thursday, late Thursday, that this system will turn up into the Gulf, into the Florida Straits, into the Gulf of Mexico, and make a beeline towards somewhere in the Panhandle or Alabama coastline. And so that's my call. Like I said, that's my educated guess. I'm just letting you know that could happen also too. The high pressures up here is not set in stone. Both of these two high pressures that are steering this thing is not set in stone. It could break down at any time or move east at any time and allow a squeeze plate to allow Hurricane Beryl to squeeze right up in there and come right towards the Florida Panhandle or over toward Alabama and Mississippi. So that's what I'm calling for. I don't think that the high pressure is going to last this long through the week. And be like a heat dome. But like I said, we'll know more about that later on Thursday after it passes Jamaica. So Jamaica, expect tomorrow afternoon, Tuesday afternoon, that your hurricane watch will be upgraded to a hurricane warning, and that will be shown here on this graphic. Sometime later tomorrow, the National Hurricane Center will go ahead and upgrade you guys. And also Haiti and Dominican Republic, you have to watch out for just strong gusty winds coming in from the northeast as the system passes by you. And there will be some tropical storm concerns there. Tropical storm winds could brush by you guys on the southern end from La Romana over towards the coast of Haiti and those things like that. So just to look out for that as well. Elsewhere, if you have any other questions, please let me know. I ran both models here, both of the model runs here, and they basically show the same thing. They show that either the storm passing to the south of Jamaica, but the GFS model has the northeastern eye wall coming ashore on Jamaica. Like, it still has it coming ashore on Jamaica or just to the east of Jamaica. And so I put Jamaica into the hurricane force winds here. I'm stopped it right here for you on the GFS model. As you can see, that core, that purple and those dark reds, that's the hurricane force winds. So the GFS model has the hurricane force winds coming into Jamaica, like I said, late Wednesday. Let me just make sure. It makes it according to this time frame. Yeah, that'll be Wednesday afternoon. So 4 p.m. Wednesday afternoon, it has the hurricane force winds coming into Jamaica. So anybody from Kingston eastward to the Eastwood Parish, St. Catherine, St. Mary's, you guys are going to be in the thick of it for a couple of hours there. And then by Wednesday night, things will be improving here. I'm going to advance it and show you it'll be pulling away from you guys. It'll just be a bunch of rain. And then it hit the western side of Negril, a few other parishes on the western side, that band right there. And then the storm is pulling away and weakening here to a 997 millibars. So once it leaves Jamaica, it's still weakening here because it's supposed to be affected by this wind shear over the Caribbean Ocean. Now that's what they're banking on. So the Hurricane Center is banking on that too because we see the wind shear in the whole basin. So this means that this is going to possibly be weakened to a Category 1. We just won't know. Right now, the GFS is showing as a 997, so that's a Category 1 storm with minimum winds probably about 80 miles an hour, 75 miles an hour. And then it weakens even further to a tropical storm as it leaves Cayman Islands, according to the GFS model, and then it continues on to northern Belize and Cancun, Mexico, making another landfall there. So that's if that verifies. But right now, we have a major hurricane on our hands. They were thinking about increasing it to a Cat 5, but so far this is the earliest Cat 4 on record since back before 1900 in the Atlantic Basin. And Now, they did find flight level winds close to 155 or 160, which would have made it a Cat 5 on the scale, but they had to take an average because these are satellite estimates. They didn't have the plane go into the hurricane hunters go into it until later on. They have to go back and refuel. They already made a couple of passes, and they gave us the 2 p.m. intermediate advisory. Then they did the 5 p.m. So they made a blend of the two and just conservatively kept it around 150 miles an hour. But it's theoretically, it could be 160 mile an hour winds in that, as we saw those mini vortices in the eye, and now the eye is cleared out now from the sub-vortices that were in the eye. It's cleared out. Now you can see all the way down to the ocean floor. You had that perfect donut shape, stadium effect around the eye. So theoretically, it could be a Cat 5. But Cat 4, Cat 5, at this point, Cat 5 starts at 157, guys. It's pretty much just, an academic thing. This storm bottled out. It was a rapid intensification. It started, it already broke records. A lot of historic records has been broken here. And so we won't get into semantics just yet. But now, another thing I want to say to you, too, is that as the storm weakens into Wednesday, in the late Wednesday, as you see, it just turns into an H. It's no longer a major hurricane according to this chart. So that means Category 2 or below here as it passes Jamaica. It's possible that the wind field could expand even more. This because the wind shear is going to blow the southwesterly wind shear that's coming atop of the storm. Apparently on Wednesday, could cause the wind field to expand and cause the storm to look kind of lopsided. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen to this eye and this eye wall structure here. That's two questions we have as it passes by Jamaica. Does it go through another eye wall replacement cycle? And how lopsided, this is perfectly symmetrical right now, but how lopsided the storm will be once it becomes affected by this heavy wind shear that could be upwards of 20 knots or 15 knots, something like that, probably coming across it from the southwest here like that. So we'll have to wait and see, because remember, the storm has to have a couple of conditions, ladies and gentlemen, to be considered to sustain a major hurricane like this. You got to have warm water. We got that. Warm water is above 86 degrees Fahrenheit, right? We got low wind shear right now. There's virtually no wind shear. We've got the high fanning out of the cirrus clouds. We got perfect inflow and outflow here, as you can see here in this picture. And we got heavy convection around the eye wall with sub-vortices in the eye wall, inside the eye wall and inside the eye itself. It was as it passed over St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Grenada. So we had all of that. So it's a perfect storm. Now, sometimes these storms could be impacted by land interaction too. So let's say it does make a direct hit on Jamaica. Let's say it goes right over the top of Jamaica, right? Let me rewind this thing here. Jamaica has high mountains on it, the Blue Mountains. So if it does make a direct hit, it's possible that it could also disrupt the organization and flow of the system. But I don't think that's likely. I don't think Jamaica will take a direct hit, but it'll be very close. I think they do get into the hurricane force winds because it extends 40 miles out to the center, and the GFS model has it very close, coming very close to the southern tip of Jamaica. As you can see right now, I have it just below southeast of Kingston and the airport there, and you can see how close the eye is to Jamaica. That's probably about, I've had the distance to it, looks like about 60 miles off the coast. So that means that it does, you get into that northeast eye wall, some of the eastern parishes there, St. Mary, St. Catherine's, Kingston, and all of that. So and like I said, the worst of it though will be from Wednesday morning here, Wednesday at lunchtime, say from 12 p.m. all the way to about 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. at night, dusk. And after that, Jamaica, things should be improving for you according to this chart right now as it stands. And then Thursday, it's on to the Caymans. The Caymans are going to be on the northern side of the eye, so they won't get the eye, they won't get the worst of it, but they will get tropical storm conditions. So it could be a few trees down, a few power may be shut off as a precaution. It could be a little roof damage, but nothing too crazy. It shouldn't be. And then from there, that's the big question mark everybody has on Thursday. Does it turn north up into the Gulf of Mexico, or does it continue on westward to Mexico, Belize, and make that landfall and get into the Bay of Campeche and make a second landfall in northern Mexico or possibly southern Texas? I am more of the camp that the high pressures up here is going to break down between the two, and they're going to be a squeeze play that allow Beryl to come north and possibly affect the panhandle of Florida and Alabama. But it's just too far out to tell. But I'm more of the opinion that I think it's going to turn north into the Gulf and get into the panhandle, a la what Hurricane Ivan did, and other storms did, where they turn in towards Pensacola, Mobile Bay, or something like that. They go through a squeeze play. Basically, both high pressures erode the subtropical ridge, erodes, and that allows Beryl to squeeze right in between them and come up like this, up into the panhandle. And it could be a weaker storm, it could be a stronger storm. But one thing's for sure is that once it weakens past Jamaica to a Category 1 or whatever's left of it, Category 1 or Category 2, it's still a hurricane according to this map. And so if it gets up into the Gulf, it's going to re-strengthen into a major hurricane. That's my opinion. The waters are very warm, and there'll be less shear up in here on this eastern Gulf of Mexico. You know it's a danger zone. Most of those hurricanes that get up here that head toward the panhandle of Florida get to be very strong very quickly. So if it does get up here by, let's say, Friday or Saturday or Sunday, and we're dealing with a hurricane in the panhandle, you guys need to be prepared to be on the watch, because if it does get, it's going to be experience rapid intensification, and you won't have time to prepare. So those in the panhandle and those in Alabama, by Friday, if this thing is not has not followed this path, and the hurricane center adjusted north and northwestward up here, you guys would be in the play of this thing. So just be careful. This is giving you a warning, because we have seen that, and this is early in the season to say that, but we have seen that happen before, where the high pressures break down and allow this system to come north, and a stronger system to come north and pull up into the eastern Gulf of Mexico. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. But in the meantime, Jamaica, you're our focus. You're in our prayers. You should be okay. Like I said, this is going to be a rough day from starting about 8 a.m. Wednesday morning to about 7 or 8 p.m. that night. That'll be Jamaica's window of opportunity. Now, right now, the GFS model has more of a direct hit for you guys. The European model has it staying offshore, but we just don't know how far offshore. Is it 60 miles offshore? Better for you if it's 60 to 80 to possibly close to 100 miles offshore to the south of you, because that means that the eye and the eye wall will stay offshore. Now, the GFS model, if that comes true, that means that the center of the storm is possibly within striking distance. That northeast eye wall is going to touch parts Kingston, St. Mary's, St. Catherine's, those parishes to the east and southeast of Kingston will get that northeast eye wall for about maybe 2 or 3 hours of hurricane force winds. Those are winds above 100, above 75 to 100 miles an hour, sometimes gusting to 130, 140. Okay, that depends on how strong this thing is. Now, if it's a Category 2 below you, then that's below, when it passes by you, then that may be better. You may only get sustained winds if the hurricane force winds come, it'll be sustained around 90. But gusts sometimes up in the 120, 115 mile an hour range. That's a little bit more manageable. That's better. But if it somehow goes through an eye wall replacement cycle Tuesday afternoon, like it has before it hit the St. Vincent and Grenadines Island this morning and Grenada, then that can spell trouble. But with the wind shear, it's likely that this system will go through another. It's unlikely, that this system will go through another eye wall replacement cycle. Systems don't like that. They like to be vertically stacked like this and be in favorable environments. So when wind shear comes across like that, it's like blowing the top off a candle. All the direction of the clouds are blowing the opposite direction, so it becomes lopsided. So that's great news in terms of that. But it's bad news that this system is so strong that it can actually, survive in his own little pocket. If there's a pocket of no wind shear, it's going to take the path of least resistance, like water. Okay, so that's what we have looking at in this type of update. Now, the next update comes in at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to expect from that. I expect that Beryl will still be a major hurricane. Now, fluctuation in intensity will continue to be the norm, but there still is going to be a Category 4. I expect the winds to come down to about 140 miles an hour instead of the 150 max. I believe it's peaked out right now. It's going to peak out right now. In the next couple of hours, it's going to peak. But as we lose the daytime heating, it's going to be less fuel for the fire, so to speak. And so I believe that the next advisory at 8 p.m. is going to be intermediate advisory, and I believe that the winds are going to remain around 145 miles an hour or so. And I also believe that the movement of this storm is going to be more northwest, and it's going to continue to hold at somewhere between I would say 17 miles an hour or so, and it should be slowing down after it passes by Jamaica. But right now, the speed of it looks to be pretty consistent. So I would say between 17 miles an hour. It will continue to move to a northwest jog here, and it won't turn westward. Now it looks like it's moving northwest right now, according to these latest runs here. Now, I showed you guys St. Vincent and the Grenadines damages here. It looks like a bunch of roofs got torn off. I know that the island that made the landfall at the Curacao Island, that island there took a lot of significant damage, probably as it took the brunt of the storm around 10 a.m. as it made landfall there 140 mile an hour winds, battering waves. Now, there hasn't been reports coming out of St. Lucia and Barbados fared pretty well. Just some flooding along the coastal areas and some trees down, but they fared pretty good. So thank God for that. And Trinidad and Tobago fared pretty well, although they did have tropical storm conditions that lasted a little bit longer. Most of the times on these storms, the southern side is the weaker side and the western side is the weaker side. If you're on the northeast side or in the eastern eye wall, that's the stronger side of the storm, obviously. And then, and so you would fare better than those who are on the north and east side of the system as the storm wraps around, as you can see right there. So that's what we have going on here. And I don't forget our ABC islands here, Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao. You're just going to get a gusty breeze as the system passes by, probably coming out of the northwest. You may get a sprinkle or two from some of the outer feeder bands, but you're not going to be in no tropical storm watches or warning or anything like that. It's probably much needed rain for you guys too, as you guys don't get much lower rain at this lower latitude. So just want to include you guys in it as well. Conditions are definitely improved in Martinique, Anguilla, Saba, St. Eustatius, all you guys are Montserrat, all you guys are perfectly in the clear. This cloudy, overcast day, and then tomorrow the sun will be back out for everybody, all the way up the chain of Lesser Antilles and Windward Islands. And once again, for those of us in the northern Caribbean islands here, Puerto Rico, British Virgin Islands, you guys, Anguilla, you guys have nothing to worry about. The system is passing by you, and so you may get some swells though from the south and southwest. Good for surfing if you're into that. And some of these areas like Puerto Rico, Anguilla, U.S. Virgin Islands, British Virgin Islands, Montserrat, etc. Saba, St. Eustatius, all those islands, St. Martin, you guys are all in the clear, perfect day, and the sun will be out for you guys starting tomorrow afternoon. So this is just the update. I'll be back on once again tonight once we get the update. Intermediate advisory at 8 p.m. Full advisory again at 11 p.m. Once again, Hurricane Beryl will continue to be a Category 4 through the night, and then we get to the weakening trend sometime Wednesday at lunchtime. There'll be some type of weakening going on as shear comes in from the southwest and blowing over the top of the storm. They hate that because they like to be vertically stacked over the warm weather. And when they can't be, the shear comes in, it kind of, stagnates the storm, so to speak, as well. And then I'll update you more on the track of the storm on Tuesday afternoon, because I'm very curious to see whether or not the Hurricane Center moves this more north-northwest, shift this track more north-northwest, meaning that are they saying that the ridge is going to break down, or are they saying that the ridge is going to remain in place and continue to steer this thing toward the west? I'm more of the camp that this thing is going to break down. The ridge is going to break down between the two high pressures that they've been talking about, and it's going to come up into the eastern Gulf of Mexico and make a landfall somewhere up here in the States. But it's just too far out. We're talking 4 days, 5 out, and I don't want to do that to you guys. That's only right now I had that as a 20% chance that happens, that the ridge breaks down, that it's steering this thing. And so we just have to wait and see. And so Jamaica, once again, make preparations, your final preparations by tomorrow afternoon. And you will get 100% chance of getting tropical storm force winds anywhere from 39 to 73 miles an hour. And then hurricane force winds could possibly be on your doorstep. Remember, hurricane force winds only extend out 40 miles from the center. So for those in Kingston and those in parishes, St. Mary's, St. Catherine's, St. Andrew Parish, all those parishes east of Kingston and southeast, you're going to take the brunt of it first. And whatever comes your way, whether that's tropical storm or hurricane, we'll know more at the 2 p.m. advisory coming up on Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. But make sure in the meantime that you get bottled water, you get flashlights, because power is going to go out, could be compromised, and watch out for any down trees or power lines that could be affected. And the good news for you, Jamaica, is that it's just a one-time thing. By Wednesday night, this thing is gone. It's moving so fast right now, at least, that by Wednesday night you'll be done. Conditions will be improving. Thursday the sun's back out, or at least it'll be just a cloudy, overcast day, and you'll be able to assess damages. But good call by Jamaica, the government of Jamaica, to get people ready now. And as that watches will be upgraded to hurricane warning by Jamaica, probably by tomorrow afternoon too as well. They'll go ahead and upgrade that hurricane watch to hurricane warning, and so that means to get ready because conditions are imminent in your area as possible. So that's what's going to happen. And by the way, Jamaica is only going to be a hurricane by when it passes underneath you, so probably a low wind category 2, like I said, with winds anywhere between in the core of the system around 100 to 110, something like that. Okay, and that's pretty much it. I'll be back with more information tonight. Just want to leave you with this loop here. As you can see, it's a powerful system, and it's our first major hurricane of the year, and it's a powerful one at that early in the year. And we'll look for, like I told you guys, we're going to look for one more eye wall replacement cycle, but it's too early to tell right now when that may be. Will it be under Hispaniola, or will it be as it passes by Jamaica? We'll just have to wait and see when that occurs. Sometime on Wednesday night, probably, guys. So I'll be back with more information. Please leave your chat comments and things in the chat, and I'll get back with you guys a little bit later. Thank you for listening, and please be sure to subscribe to this channel as we go through the latest and greatest information on Hurricane Beryl. Be safe, be prepared. I'll talk to y'all soon. Thank you for listening.